Ariannaarmani here, back with another video. I know I promised that today's video was going to be the 8-month stretch update video, and that is coming. I'm planning to do it, do a midweek release, or it'll probably be next week's video. It is recorded though, but I got a lot of questions after my last video, just wanting more specifics about how I was able to get into the midwife program and like some of the things that I am required to do to like prepare for that. So I will always tell you guys to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm so grateful that I got so many text messages and DMs and stuff. So I want to make sure that I answer those questions. So that's what I'm gonna do in this video. I'm just gonna give some more specifics on how I got into the midwife program, the doula program, and how I was able to get insurance to cover it all, because normally this is an elective thing, and most surgeries, Lord, most health insurances do not cover it. So I'm gonna talk about how I was able to get pretty much the entire thing covered in full, and me not having to really come out of pocket for anything. So let's get into it. Okay, so to start, like I said in my last video, I found the Hands of Melody doula group through the OB that I was originally using. And so they offered a free service to first-time moms through my OB. So that is how I originally got linked with them. And I've loved them. I've been with them, like I said, since like my 14th or 15th week of pregnancy. So I've been with them since that point. There's 4 of them, and they're all wonderful. They host weekly, well, now it's bi-weekly. At one point it was every day since the pandemic, but they host bi-weekly online meetings where we're allowed to just basically just ask anything we want to know about birth, breastfeeding, what to expect postpartum recovery, what to expect at the hospital, what to expect when baby's born. So it's just all very, very helpful and very informative, and I love that they do that for us twice a week. And it also just gives us like a open forum to connect and meet other moms who are, you know, going through this too for the first or even second time, just being able to talk to one another. And we've really built like a family village. Now, I mentioned before, and someone asked specifically, did I end up having to pay for my doulas out of pocket? Yes. So when I switched over from the OBs that I was using to the midwife group, I did have to pay for my doulas out of pocket, but the expense wasn't too bad. So they have multiple packages that you can pick from. The basic package comes with like either 18 to 24 hours of labor support, and they normally come when you get to that stage where you're what am I trying to say? They normally come when your contractions are 5 to 10 minutes apart, and then they stay with you until the end. So they have a flat rate fee for that. It's either $600 or $700 depending on like what kind of care you want. And then that also includes one postnatal. God, I'm messing up with the words today. Ugh. So it comes with one postpartum checkup. It comes with one postpartum checkup. They do offer a bunch of other services, as well as multiple postpartum visits, multiple, just depending on how many you want. They will do overnight if you feel like it's necessary. It just all depends on like what level of support you feel like you're gonna need. So I went with the 24 hours of labor support with one additional postpartum checkup. And I did that because I have midwives and a birthing assistant, and they also do postpartum checkups. So I felt like I didn't need, you know, I already have multiple postpartum checkups going on, so I didn't really feel like I was gonna need that many. So yeah, that's why I did that. So yeah, it ended up being $700 out of pocket, and myself and one of my largest supporters went half on that, paid for it, took care of it. No big deal. Okay, so for the midwives. So normally I have Care First. So I'm gonna start by saying that I have Care First insurance. Normally home births are not covered by insurance. However, and this is one of the things that I say, you know, there's good parts of COVID. Because of COVID-19 and the hospital restrictions and just moms not feeling safe in the hospital, Care First developed this plan where it's called an alternative birth plan, alternative birth care plans, where they are essentially just covering whatever form of whatever form of birth care you want. So I would suggest checking if you have them or having any other insurance company what the policy is right now for that. Because I just so happened to call my rep and she told me, like, you know, this right now during this pandemic and everything being so unsure, insurances are allowing and covering pretty much any birth option that the mom feels like is necessary. They also feel like, insurance companies also feel like it's more of a risk sending women to the hospital where they could contract COVID or the babies could contract COVID, and then they're also coming out of their pockets to pay for those expenses. So with insurance, we all know it's like a money game. So they're down to do whatever they feel is going to cost them less money in the long run. So with that being said, my insurance covered everything 100% full out. For the actual midwife, they covered the home birth expenses. So there's like a list of materials that I have to get for the home birth, like, you know, gauze and making sure I have all of my postpartum care stuff and all of those things. So my insurance is covering all of that, which is great. I don't even have co-pays when I go for my doctor's appointments. They're taking care of all of it. I had a letter of pre-authorization. They took care of all of it. So I didn't really have like that headache. And I thought that was going to be the biggest headache, figuring out how to pay for it. Even though my family was down to help me pay for whatever it was going to cost, I'm just grateful that it ended up not costing anything. One thing that I did have to come out of pocket for as well is the birthing assistance. So the difference between a midwife and a birthing assistant is the midwife is what you would call the doctor in this situation. The birthing assistants are the labor and delivery nurses essentially, and then the doula is the doula. The birth assistant and the doula essentially have like very similar jobs as far as like supporting the mom, but the birth assistant is absolutely medically necessary because, as I said, they are essentially taking the role of a labor and delivery nurse. So I ended up paying $950 for that. But like I said, my family was down to support me. And so my father pretty much paid half and I paid half. And then I got a letter from the Center of Medical Necessity saying that the birth assistants were 100% necessary and not optional in order for them to accept me into the program. So I sent that letter to my insurance company, and they are currently in the process of processing that, and I should be getting a refund for all the money that I spent for the birthing assistant. So that was taken care of too. As long as the things that the midwives were saying I needed could be said as medical necessities and it had to happen for the safety of me and the baby, the insurance was down to pay for it. And so that is that. Okay, so before they officially accepted me into the midwife program, of course they just had to run the same tests you would do at your regular OB's office, checking blood pressure, checking the position of the baby, background history, whatever, just to make sure that you were healthy, baby was healthy, and that there was nothing that they could foresee would be a reason to have sent you to the hospital. And so just typical screening, just to say, like, you know, everything looks good, it looks like you're fit, looks like you're healthy, it looks like you are mentally and emotionally ready. They do, you know, ask questions about that too. Because essentially choosing to give birth at home or at the center means that I am electively choosing a completely natural birth, and there really aren't any other options. They just want to make sure that you are mentally and physically prepared for what it's going to be like to give natural birth. The other thing they give me is a list. The front side is for what I need if I'm going to do a birth at home. Back side is what I'm going to need if I'm going to go to the center. So I'll just kind of go briefly over what's on like the center list. So if I'm going to the center, they want me to bring snacks for the mom, the family, midwife, and birthing assistants, and a meal. So you have to remember that, like, we are not at a hospital, we are at a center. And so my family will be there, my midwives will be there, doulas will be there, and my birth assistants will be there. And there's no telling how long I'm going to be in labor. I've hired them essentially to be there, so I have to feed them. So they're just asking that I make sure that I have snacks and things that I would like, and then to also bring like a casserole or a pizza or something that I could stretch and feed them as well, because you just never know how long I'm going to be there or what type of day we're going to be there. So just preparing ahead to make sure that people are eating, because they also have to keep their energy up. That's the other thing that I like that's really different about a hospital is, you know, when you go to the hospital in active labor, they don't allow you to eat anymore. At the birth center, they want you to eat as much as you can to keep your energy up. Like, so if I'm hungry, I should be eating. And they're not really worried about, I know people are like, oh, what if you throw up and what if you poop? According to my doulas, throwing up and pooping is all good because it is pushing the baby down. So if you gotta throw it up or poop it out, do so. Some other things that they have on this list is to bring juice, clothes to wear during labor, my own pillows if I want to, CDs or music that I want, a speaker if I feel like it, clothes for me to wear home. For the baby, they want us to have at least 4 receiving blankets for the baby to wear home, disposable newborn diapers and wipes, seasonal baby clothes, and a car seat that is for infants, and that has already been adjusted in the car, and I have to have the car seat in the car by 36 weeks. So I can't wait till the last minute to have that. And they will not, of course, just like a hospital, they will not let me go home without it. And then they give me a list of things that I should probably have at home for postpartum care. And I'll go over that in another video because I plan to do a postpartum care kit video in the future. So I will go over those things afterwards, but pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, the at-home birth list is a lot longer, but there is a kit on here that you can buy for $40 that literally comes with everything that is on this list, minus like the food items and the things that I listed on the back, because some of these things are the same. So yeah, that's that. Okay, so day of show is what I'm calling it. So the difference between a hospital and the birthing center that I'm going to is that things run a little bit differently. So of course I've kind of already made the decision that I want to go to the center because I want to use their birthing tubs, and I don't really want to use the tub that's at my house because I want like the jets and all of that stuff. So I'll call them once my contractions are 5 to 10 minutes apart. They'll tell me to come in and they will meet me at the center. And once I get there and I labor and I give birth, I actually get to go home about 4 to 6 hours afterwards. So after I give birth, they will make sure that I use the bathroom, make sure that I poop, do the initial weight of the baby, give the vitamin K shot and the eye drops and those types of things. And if everything was good after that, and I can take a shower there, the birth assistants will help me with that. Take a shower, get dressed, they'll clean the baby, dress the baby, and then I get to go home. So it's not like I have to stay there like I would at a hospital. And then that's when my my postpartum checkups begin. So my midwife and my birth assistant will come within like, I think it's like 12 hours or so. They'll show up to the house after about like 12 hours to be there to do the checks, to fill out the stuff for the birth certificate for the baby and all that stuff. And then my birth assistant will come for one more check about 12 hours after that. So they'll be there for 2 checks. And then as I said, my doula will be there for a check too. So I'll have 3 checks within like 2 to 3 days. On the second day, since baby will not be born at a hospital, I have to take them to the pediatrician's office. And they will run all of the checks and things that they normally do at the hospital before the baby is allowed to go home with their pediatrician that is on staff. And then 2 days after that, I have to take the baby to get a hearing and an eye test. So yeah, that's that. So it seems like a lot of like running around right after the baby is born, but I mean, once you have a baby, you know that you have to take baby to an appointment right after you leave the hospital anyway. So essentially I'm just kind of getting these things done a little bit quicker. And of course I'll have, you know, my moms and my dads and all that stuff around me to help support with getting the baby back and forth. And all of my checks will be in home where I'm comfortable. So I just like knowing how all those things are already gonna be mapped and planned out. All right guys, so I think that's it. I think I answered everything about the insurance, what I paid for out of pocket, what has to come with me to the center, and I think that's pretty much it. So if anybody else has any other questions, again, like, comment, subscribe, blow up my DMs because that's where I got most of the stuff from, out of Facebook and out of my Instagram DMs, and I'm perfectly fine with that too. And I will see you all next time. Bye.